morning and welcome to an all-new Eye of the Tiger. I'm Kelly Kennedy.
And I'm Carson Moore.
Last year, Eye of the Tiger reported on the upcoming data science class. This year, reporter Tyler Bradford went back to see how the class has been doing so far. We go over to Tyler for more.
Data science is a new class at RHS. Senior Cameron Ludwig expects the class to be different because it is new to the school.
For the class this year, since it's a new class, I expect there to be a little bit of a learning curve for both the teacher and definitely the students because it's a new class.
The data science course was introduced last year in AP statistics classes. Data science teacher Shadra Wood feels like the course offers different opportunities for students.
I feel like data science offers an opportunity for students to get their hands on the use of math in a different view, basically. We're doing a lot of work with information, and it's less about formulas and having to pass an AP exam.
The course is meant to be an alternative route for students taking math classes. It is being taught in a different way to make it more fun and interesting for students.
Expectations for me, one is that we have fun. I really want this course to be something different that's exciting for the students, a different pathway for them to take math in high school that doesn't have to be driving them towards calculus.
Thanks, Tyler.
In other news, homecoming dance bids are available to be picked up at the Student Services window during lunch at Roar. And now we go over to Lucas Guzman in sports.
Good morning and welcome to this Tuesday's edition of EOTSN. I'm Lucas Guzman. This weekend, our cross-country team competed in the Bret Hart Invitational. The event was a men's 3-mile run and also had 2 runners place top 10. Aragon T. Arena came in at 9th with a time of 17 minutes and 33 seconds, and Alex Vihol took home the bronze at 3rd with a time of 17 minutes and 2 seconds. Roseville as a team was ranked 9th out of 22 schools with a team score of 220. In other news, Roseville has a former NFL player as a part of our varsity football coaching staff. We go to Jake Finn with more on the story.
Lyle West is a previous NFL player. He has made his way to Roseville High School and is now a varsity coach.
One of my open houses, I sell real estate for a living here locally, and the defensive coordinator stopped by one of my open houses, saw my Tackling Your Real Estate Needs sign, and asked me to coach. And then from there, I interviewed with Coach Ranking and joined the staff.
West is a loved coach and brings a lot of good strategy to the team. His prior experience playing professionally brings new opportunities.
Everybody loves Lyle West. Great coach. Obviously knows what he's talking about playing in the NFL.
West enjoys to watch the team build together and push them to get better. West also hopes to be able to build them to be better off the field too.
Yeah, being around these young men has really reinvigorated something in me selfishly. Having that camaraderie and being around team sports again has certainly been fun, and also watching the kids work hard. There a lot of guys out here are good guys, and it's good to see that we're building young community members.
Thanks, Jake. Now let's hop into the RHS game schedule planned for the next few days. Today, girls golf takes on Bella Vista and girls tennis battles against Yuba City High School. Tomorrow, our water polo teams will host Laguna Creek. Thursday includes a cross-country meet at the Civic Center, girls golf against Intercom, girls tennis versus Bella Vista, and girls volleyball versus Yuba City. And that's all on your home for Roseville High School sports, top plays, breakdowns, and more. Eye of the Tiger Sports Network, EOTSN. And now we go over to entertainment.
Thanks, Lucas. Last weekend, Disney held its annual D23 convention and announced a ton of new upcoming Disney content, along with some additional information about previously revealed projects. Disney Studios' big reveals included a Lion King prequel surrounding Mufasa, a new Haunted Mansion movie based on the beloved Disneyland ride, and more announcements on live-action Little Mermaid and Snow White movies, which I don't really care about. Pixar announced a new movie named Elemental and its first Disney Plus series called Win or Lose. The big Pixar announcement, though, was Inside Out 2, a sequel to the most overrated Pixar movie of all time where new emotions will be introduced. Star Wars announced a handful of stuff, but most notably they announced The Mandalorian Season 3, which will hit Disney Plus at some point in 2023. Harrison Ford is back as Indiana Jones in the movie franchise's 5th and likely final installment, which comes out on June 30th. I'm ready for Disney to release the first trailer for this movie, and it will likely happen sometime soon. And finally, Marvel Studios released footage for their Halloween special Werewolf by Night and upcoming series Secret Invasion, which will be an espionage thriller that comes out early in 2023. The big announcements for Marvel, though, were 2 movies that come out in 2024. Captain America New World Order's villain will be the Leader, aka Samuel Stearns, whose giant forehead we'll get to see for the first time since that awful Incredible Hulk movie we try so hard to forget about. But what I'm most excited about is the Thunderbolt, which will essentially be the MCU's version of the Suicide Squad, led by Bucky Barnes and Yelena Belova, with the other members being Red Guardian, Taskmaster, Ghost, and John Walker, aka US Agent. This group features some of the MCU's best characters, along with a couple characters like Taskmaster who desperately need redemption on the big screen. The Thunderbolts have some of my favorite stories in the comics, and these dudes are about to go nuts on the big screen. And now we go back to news.
Thanks, Joe.
For some, recovering from an injury is done alone, but for one RHS senior, it was done alongside one of her best friends. We go to Nathan Handling with more.
Senior Brooke Alger and her injured horse Maggie have been recovering side by side for nearly half a year. Their recoveries began together as both sustained major injuries, a torn ACL for Alger and diminished tendons for Maggie.
So it's actually a funny coincidence because her and I got hurt at the same time. So like when I came back is when I got to start working with her to bring her back. So I've been involved for probably like 5 to 6 months now.
The injuries sustained by Alger and Maggie led to a similar recovery process. Alger worked with Maggie side by side, starting with rest and training to try and work back up to their original routines and lifestyles.
Me being on crutches would be her synonymous to stall rest. So both of us were trying to eliminate being weight bearing. And then the second step was slowly starting to walk. So I got to get off the crutches, and then she got to go in the arena and just be hand walked for a few laps just to introduce like the mechanics of walking again. And then slowly that goes into like running and more movement, and it just keeps on progressing from there.
During her recovery process, Alger was forced by her injury to learn to communicate with Maggie in a new, more rain-emphasized Western style. This new style was learned to avoid complications caused by Alger's brace when using an English leg-emphasized style.
It's a lot more difficult in a brace for sure, because a lot of her cues for riding are based off of leg movement, and I quite literally can't use my leg to cue her. So trying to translate what I was trying to tell her and cue her to do was very difficult because she didn't understand and I couldn't relay what I wanted. She has what we call an English style of riding, where there's a lot more leg emphasis. Western, still leg emphasis, but a lot more rein cues. So I would work with her in that capacity, trying to incorporate like neck reining and a lot more cues with my hands. And I'd also, like at points, if she'd get too frustrated, I would have someone actually walk next to me to help cue her, so then she wouldn't be so lost as to what I wanted.
Alger continues to work with Maggie as she heals from her injury.
Neither of us were at 100%, so I would just try to walk her around as much as I could. So she'd just have the halter on, we'd go in the arena, and then we'd walk a few laps. It'd be good for both me and her, because I get my steps in and she gets hers, so.
Thanks, Nathan. While Alger has since healed from her surgery, Maggie's still on the road to full recovery. And that's it for us today on Eye of the Tiger.
And remember, we're always on eyeofthetigernews.com. See you next time.